salt of the streets, coming at you every week with this food for thought. Hope you ready to eat. With everything going on in this nation, we need some information, and that's why salt need to be stationed in your rotation. With real talking, real topics, real people, real problems. Think we need some help to solve them, and leave it up to Colin and the Donovan. Cause that's what's that? Let's get ready. Welcome to the salt of the streets, coming at you every week with this food for thought. Hope you ready to eat. With everything going on in this nation, we need some information, and that's why salt need to be stationed in your rotation. With real talking, real topics, real people, real problems. Think we need some help to solve them, and leave it up to Colin and the Donovan. Cause that's what's that? Let's get ready. Welcome to the salt of the streets, coming at you every week with this food for thought. Hope you ready to eat. With everything going on in this nation, we need some information, and that's why salt need to be stationed in your rotation. With real talking, real topics, real people, real problems. Think we need some help to solve them, and leave it up to Colin and the Donovan. Cause that's what's that? Let's get ready. Welcome to the salt of the streets, coming at you every week with this food for thought. Hope you ready to eat. With everything going on in this nation, we need some information, and that's why salt need to be stationed in your rotation. With real talking, real topics, real people, real problems. Think we need some help to solve them, and leave it up to Colin and the Donovan. Cause that's what's that? Let's get ready. Welcome to the salt of the streets, coming at you every week with this food for thought. Hope you ready to eat. With everything going on in this nation, we need some information, and that's why salt need to be stationed in your rotation. With real talking, real topics, real people, real problems. Think we need some help to solve them, and leave it up to Colin and the Donovan. Cause that's what's that? Let's get ready. And we're back to Salt to the Streets podcast. Social and political commentary. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? That's always and forever. That's right. Salt to the Streets. Hey, another fantastic episode. Everyday Normal Person's podcast. Salt to the Streets. Upper left or the upper left? Just upper left. Welcome to the Salt of the Streets, coming at you every week with this food for thought. Hope you ready to eat. With everything going on in this nation, we need some information, and that's why Salt need to be stationed in your rotation. With real talking, real topics, real people, real problems. Think we need some help to solve them, and leave it up to Colin and the Donovan, cause that's what's that? Oh, let's get ready. And we're back to Salt to the Streets podcast. Social and political commentary. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? That's always and forever. That's right. Salt to the Streets. Hey, another fantastic episode. Everyday Normal Person's podcast. Salt to the Streets. Upper left or the upper left? Just upper left. Welcome to the Salt of the Streets, coming at you every week with this food for thought. Hope you ready to eat. With everything going on in this nation, we need some information, and that's why Salt need to be stationed in your rotation. With real talking, real topics, real people, real problems. Think we need some help to solve them, and leave it up to Colin and the Donovan, cause that's what's that? Oh, let's get ready. And we're back to Salt to the Streets podcast. Social and political commentary. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? That's always and forever. That's right. Salt to the Streets. Hey, another fantastic episode. Everyday Normal Person's podcast. Salt to the Streets. Upper left or the upper left? Just upper left. Welcome to the Salt of the Streets, coming at.
Thank you very much for joining us, everybody. We're out here. We're back. Salt of the Streets pre-show live stream episode 112. We're out here. 112. We're doing it. Obviously, some plans have changed. We talked about Larry being here. As the military goes, that's how things go. You don't get to control your life. They choose what you do and do not do. So Larry's leave was denied. He is obviously not here. He will be back another time, no doubt. But we've been gone for 2 full months now. Is that what we ended up taking off?
Yeah.
So if this is your first show, or if you're back joining us, thank you again. I'm Donovan.
I'm Colin.
And this is Salt of the Streets. We're happy to have you here. It's going to be an amazing show today. Thank you again for joining us. Let's just start here. So we were gone for 8 weeks. Right?
Yeah.
We took some time off. We had a lot of things going on. Yeah, we're not going to dive too deep into it because I don't want to spend time digging through my own personal stuff. But
right. Yeah, we could probably talk for 4 hours alone on just what we did over the last couple months. But we're not going to do that.
Yeah, no, you like I said in all the posts and everything, you have another business that you own stake in, and we
don't remind me.
Both have extensive families and things that call our attention. So, and it's near impossible for us to do and make the type of product that we want to make here, the type of show that we want to make here, with those things going on and not having them sorted out. So that's it. That's why we're here. With that, we're ready to come back with a fucking bang. It's going to be an amazing show today.
Oh, dude, we've got so much. We're only talking about 2 topics. Pretty much, yeah. I mean, you know us. I'm sure we'll get off track somewhere.
Other things will get brought in,
but we've got COVID and Afghanistan going on for our 2 topics, and I have a feeling that it's going to take everything we have to stay under 4 hours for those 2 topics.
Yeah. Yeah, so it should be a great show. We got a little bit of sports going on. Obviously, football starts in 2 weeks. We have
Real soon.
The draft for the 14-man league next week,
weekend.
1 week from today. I'll probably do a little bit of live stream, while we're there. I don't see why not. Just bust out one of the phones and just do a little.
That's what we doing.
Excuse me. Yeah. So
didn't Fantasy Footballers was doing that? One of the last shows we were recording, I think. They were doing a live stream of some kind of draft.
They do live drafts like every 2 weeks probably leading up to the draft for a few months, or up to football season. So it's going to be good. We bumped our buy-in again this year to a little 60 piece, and then we're going to go ahead and introduce I haven't told anybody, I think, except for like maybe Morgan, about our plan to expand the league and then split it and all the things. So I'm interested.
So we've basically got a week to pull together a timeline, or like a plan, if you will.
I think we've got a pretty good, it's because a lot of it is discussion. It's going to take a group discussion in the league to decide what the 5 metrics are that decide who the winner is.
Yes.
That's a group discussion in itself. So, but I think that I'm going to force everyone. I asked everybody when I was hitting them up for the league, if they wanted to go to a new app, how they felt about the idea, and at least half of the people were like, oh, I don't care, whatever works. So I counted them as a yes, and so I'm going to just force everybody to go to this new app because I think that it's going to be better if we do it. It has like that constant chat function in the bottom of it that's there all the time.
Yeah.
And so as soon as you pull the app up,
there's perfect.
Whatever anybody has posted. It's very difficult with it being so many different groups of friends for everyone to communicate, I think, comfortably,
Oh yeah.
And especially since COVID, I have realized how different people are politically in the league, and I don't know that everybody knows that. So I decided that I'm going to make it very clear that it's a no COVID zone. Nobody is to discuss politics at the football draft because it will devolve. It will devolve into.
There will be no draft if COVID comes up.
It will devolve into tragedy.
What they think is best, and we'll hammer it out from
there. We're just gonna get the draft over with, and we'll move from there. So. I'm praying that nobody wears a mask because that will just open a discussion. Hopefully everyone will be reasonable because it's outside and it will
be fun. It'll be in the middle of our wonderful mandate that we've got coming down, which we'll talk about in the main show.
Yes.
There's so many. I'm chomping at the bit, dude. But I wanted to talk to you while we're in the pre-show about something a little bit more lighthearted and fun, I guess.
All I had was bad shit. That's all I found to write down was bad shit. So
I'm pretty sure that we put Commentary Magazine Podcast up a run for their money for the most morose podcast out there. Crushing Morosity. This is the true home.
Yeah.
Okay. But I watched Invincible.
Oh, did you finish it?
Oh my God.
Oh,
it's
so good, right?
Yeah. Yes. So tell me what you think about Invincible. What is Invincible, Donovan?
Invincible is an Amazon Prime show. It's obviously a comic book. I don't know that much about it. I'm sure it was a comic book first. Now
I got you there. It was indeed a comic book first, graphic novel type comic book.
Yeah.
Written by none other than the great and powerful Robert
Kirkman,
I believe.
It's
is
a Kirkman
his name.
property.
Kirkman.
Yes.
And so it is. I mean, it's bloody, gory.
Oh yeah.
The storyline is very similar to Watchmen, I think.
The twists. The twists are excellent. Yeah.
Oh, dude, did not see the ending coming.
Yeah.
Did not at all. So, a little bit of spoiler alerts. Actually, it's a total spoiler alert if you haven't seen it yet. But in the end, right, when they start talking about the, I always want to call them like the Vegemites, whatever alien race.
The vitral.
This alien race that they are. They're kind of like Supermen.
The Viltrumites.
The Viltrumites. There it is.
There you go.
They reminded me so much of the Saiyans from Dragon Ball Z. I'm like, bro, if young Vegeta, and what's his name, Omni-Man, the main character, Omni-Man in Invincible, the main Invincible's dad, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like this hardcore, like 1,000-year-old dude who's like conquered multiple planets, and it's dark and twisted, and I loved every second of it.
And all the famous people, star-studded show too.
Oh, dude, yeah.
J.K. Simmons as Omni-Man. No, Steve Yoon from Glenn is
a pullover from Walking Dead.
A bunch. There was a lot of that. I felt like I couldn't name them off a lot for you.
Yeah,
that was a couple months ago that I watched that, and obviously I consume so much content at work.
Yes, you do.
It's like in one ear and right the fuck out the other one.
I have not had that problem this week because I've left my headphones at work or at home twice. But actually, funny story about that because I was bitching to you about it yesterday. Because I always like to have my headphones in. I keep one of my Raycon earbuds in. Oh, we got to take a shot.
Yeah.
Totally forgot about that. But I was bitching about it all day, and I had called Carolina to see if she was going to be coming into town at all. I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're in the studio. Grab them, bring them to me. Well, I go to leave from my last appointment of the day. It was like 6 o'clock. I just got out of this meeting, and I called Carolina because I'm making a Grub Hut order. Got some Grub Hut last night. It was bomb.
Nice.
And
what did
I'm
you
like
have?
fishing around. I had my favorite thing.
We got to take a stop here. Grub Hut is a Kingston burger joint. It's a very, very small establishment. Absolutely
it reminds me
delicious.
Of Bob's Burgers.
Yeah, it's a Kingston staple. It's just one of those things. So they have the little food truck that drives around and goes, it just stops, I think, at a place for the day and does whatever. So
clutch food truck too.
Yeah. Okay, so you stopped at Grub Hut.
Yep. And I got my favorite thing on the planet, which is called the Hangover Helper.
Oh.
And so it's beef patty, obviously, with cheese, and it's got like a chipotle garlic aioli or something like that with it. It's pickled jalapenos on it. The French fried onion shoots or whatever those are. Oh,
the crispy
my
onions.
God, it's so dangerously good. But unfortunately, by the time I got it back, all the French fries were stale. You know how that goes. It's a bummer.
Do you guys have an air fryer?
I do.
You gotta use
I probably
the air
should have
fryer.
put the air fryer.
You gotta
in
bust
there.
out the air fryer.
I have never once busted out the air fryer. I'm a little weirded out by the concept.
No, okay. So, well, first of all, I use the air fryer all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan home makes chicken nuggets.
Because
and
she's
so
a boss.
yeah, so we'll air fry the chicken nuggets. But one of the few processed foods that I still will eat is fucking mozzarella sticks, right? And an air fried mozzarella stick is just a million times superior to a standard mozzarella stick, like out of the oven or something like that.
Okay, yeah. Not if you're like, I feel like you can't quite get as good as dropping it in a hot bath of oil,
No,
right?
not at all. But at home, because in the air fryer they'll still open up, you know what I'm saying? And it like in the oil they don't do that as much. I feel like they stay closed better when you
from the outside. Yeah.
Exactly. But when you air fry, they still might open up a little bit like they would in the oven, but they get full crispy like they do because it got the holes in the bottom of the basket thing.
When I went to the air goes all the way around it. It doesn't. Okay.
Yeah. When I went to lunch last weekend with Trenton, got a pizza. Dax got some tater tots with other stuff that I brought with him. So
that's when you guys went to Cloverleaf, right?
Yes. Yeah. So we took the tater tots home, put them in the air fryer. They're delicious.
And they're like fresh.
Because they're still crispy like they are out of the oil, and you just like heat them up, and they stay crisp. They don't get soft like they would in an oven.
I bet that would be super. Like it would be better to reheat like a leftover fried food like that because it's still got a little residual oil going on.
Absolutely.
Man, why am I not fucking with the air fryer, bro?
Boneless wings, like if you take home a boneless wing from a restaurant, if you put it in the microwave or something,
they get all soggy and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you put it in the air fryer, right, it doesn't stay like the sauce is obviously not as moist. The sauce will dry up a little bit, but it's still just as moist on the inside because it's
turn your sauce into a dry rub, baby.
Exactly. So it's not that bad, It's like it's real. And if you have some more barbecue sauce at home, fucking put it in there. You know, dip it in something else. You're gonna dip it in ranch anyway or some shit like that. So just dip.
If you're
blue
dipping
cheese,
shit in ranch, you're a bad person.
Jordan's gonna fight you over that.
I know. Okay, so there's a lot of people are gonna fight me over that.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is I'm planting my flag. This is my hill to die on this week. Fuck ranch dressing.
That's funny. Speaking of which, we have a new segment on this week's show.
Yes, I'm so jazzed about it.
Another one of those random brainchilds,
You're right.
The things that come along every couple of months that allow me to justify my not being the tech guy. It's things like this, and I'm like, that's what I'm bringing to the table.
Let me ask you a question. Were you smoking weed when you came up with this idea?
Because
that's where I come up with all my good ideas.
Because it wasn't too late at night. I thought of it on my way out of Dax's room, so I wasn't. I couldn't have been high at the time.
Just an epiphany.
Yeah, just I was.
This is a good idea.
We read books, and we've been reading. This is my favorite thing.
Ooh.
I have The Infinity Gauntlet, right? Graphic novel, The Infinity Gauntlet. It comes in like a bunch of different volumes, but he picks the same one off the shelf every time, and so we've just taken that when we started reading that at night instead of whatever children's books he has in his room. We'll just read a couple pages of the Infinity Gauntlet, throw a bookmark in there, put it back on the shelf.
That's dope.
It's amazing. So
Dax loves the Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh, he's a big fan of it. Yeah, he's a big. Well, all the pictures and everything. I mean, the Infinity Gauntlet came out originally. I think that Perez was the artist, which it's got to put it in the '80s, you know. So, it's an old school book, old style. Everything looks old school. But George Perez is like, I mean, one of the best artists alive. So, or to live. Is it a Perez piece?
Oh well, I better type in here comic.
Yeah.
I saw it for a minute. Oh yeah. That does look old school.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, so he's a big fan of that. There's a lot of... So I'm doing my best. I got to break into full dad mode. I got to start busting out different voices and stuff like that.
Oh,
sound
nice!
effects and things. Yeah, it's a whole deal. So...
It's going to be great to record the audiobook here pretty soon.
Yeah. Why the fuck did we start talking about this?
You're reading with Dax. You're coming up with your idea.
Oh, yeah. Okay, the new segment. Right, that's what we're doing. So the new segment is called A Scroll Down the Street.
Amen.
Right? There we go. So we're going to take a scroll down the street later. And what that's going to be is we're going to log on to Colin and my Twitter feeds. We're going to pull up the computer screen so that you guys can see it. We're going to scroll through the Twitter feed. We're going to break down some of these bullshit takes, some articles and stuff that we see. We're going to do the wrong thing, and we're going to read the headline and talk shit about the article, and then we'll move on. So we're going to do this. Twitter a few months ago, did you notice, like, if you try and
retweet something
without reading it, do you want to read this article?
Yeah.
First? Fucking no, bitch. I know what this is about. Yeah.
I got a good handle on this from this one sentence.
Oh, no. Maybe I should. But, so.
We'll say it got you to stop for a second and go, maybe? No, fuck it. I'm going to do it anyways.
It made me think whether or not I knew what I was talking about, you know? Yep. And then I was like, no, I fucking know what I'm talking about. And that's, I am definitely guilty of taking the headline of an article and tweeting about that subject, you know?
Yeah.
Using it as a branch off to talk about that subject. So
Yep.
that article could really have very little to do with what I said about that subject, but they're both about the same thing. And that's how I got there.
I'm just saying that sounds very fair to me, just because
Yeah.
I'm not, first of all, you're going to have like partial brain damage after you read the whole article because odds are if it's coming from one of the mainstream outlets, it's full of bad punctuation, misspellings, bad grammar, and salacious. What do you call that? Tim Pool talks about it a lot. All the the context part of it, the framing. It's just stupid.
Yeah.
Try reading the next time you pull up a CNN article. Try reading it once you read a sentence and they say Donald Trump salaciously did this.
Yeah.
It's like Donald Trump, skip that word, did this. That's how the article probably should have been written.
Yeah.
But there's so many framing devices put into these things. You can hardly read them. You can hardly read them without just being so turned off. You're like, okay, I understand. They're trying to push this. I'm the fuck out.
Well, it's like the article that I sent to you the other day about the CDC, like the homesteading policy or whatever, the shielding policy.
The shielding policy.
Yeah, and then
that was a rabbit hole.
The article about it, right, from the AP or whatever. And they're just having to do all these twists and turns to try and make it seem like that's not what they said, and then they quote the very document, and you're like, I thought that you said that's not what this said. But
you contradicted yourself twice in the same article.
It's really not good. So we'll talk about that. We're not gonna devolve into a pure, the CDC is gonna fucking put you into camps.
Right.
Like, it's not. The dude that I found that from was very much on that tilt. Was like, the camps are already built. Like, they had them built before COVID. You know, like they're coming for you. Yeah, I'm definitely not here to tell you that the CDC has camps that they're already looking to put you in. But we are going to talk about this document that the CDC published about
back in July.
About
2020.
A policy called the shielding method that does certainly have to do with separating vulnerable people from less vulnerable people.
Green zones
and shit, and then they're
very
saying
strange.
This doesn't call for building of new facilities. However, very few places have the required amenities that would be needed in this facility, which would require building a new facility. So,
it's pretty bad.
There's a lot of really interesting things. So we're going to talk about a lot of that. As far as COVID, we're going to talk about the current state of the Delta variant and the United States and
You couldn't see a massive eye roll.
We're going to talk a lot about breakthrough cases and vaccines and booster shots.
I took a
mandates.
take-home COVID test, so I'm gonna explain how that works. And
Yeah, we've
the
had
fun stuff about that.
a couple
I'll have to
of-
grab the box in between pre-show and regular show.
We've had a couple of different experiences now with like potential exposures and stuff, and so, excuse me, we've had some interesting times, and you know, it's pretty real. And
pretty
then
real.
as far as Afghanistan, we're going to be talking about the withdrawal, obviously, from U.S. forces from Afghanistan, the subsequent takeover of the country by the Taliban in an extremely rapid fashion.
So fast.
We're going to talk about the defenses of it and things like that, and I think
Yeah, it's been interesting to watch the commentariat come out over the last week and just pick the camp that they belong to.
yes,
And they're diehard defending staying or diehard defending leaving, no regrets. And there's so much nuance there, and there should not be two camps on this bad boy.
No, it seems like the easiest and most logical camp to find yourself in is, I agree we shouldn't be there anymore. However, this is a shit show.
Yes.
It was done in extremely poor fashion. Because it's like as soon as you start to criticize the way that this situation is playing out or how Biden has potentially handled it or anything like that, it's like, oh, so you think we should have stayed? No, that's not at all what I said. I think there's some middle ground between potentially leaving thousands of people there that are going to be killed by the Taliban, almost definitely,
Yep.
and leaving American troops there that are going to have to do battle with the Taliban for an undetermined period of time.
Yeah.
There's definitely a gray area there, you know?
There's places in between that we can live pretty
Yeah.
happily.
And we've talked before, when the treaty was signed and when Donald Trump started negotiating with the Taliban, we talked about the similarities between the Vietnam War and Afghanistan. We talked about them almost a year ago. For a year we've been talking about this, right? And now that the leaving happened, and it looks especially bad and reminds us especially of Vietnam, there has become that extra layer of argument of this is nothing like Vietnam or this is exactly like Vietnam, where again,
Some gray area in
I'm
there.
planting my flag here. This is extremely similar to Vietnam, close enough that we should absolutely have known from our beginning involvement in the 90s that this was a mistake.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do during the regular show is I have here
All the
13 index cards specifically about the Vietnam War, presidential actions, and we're going to talk about the way that these things are similar to the Afghanistan war, how they mirror the two, and why we should have learned our lesson in Vietnam and never been involved in the capacity that we were in Afghanistan. Because to me, and I think to you, that's the real point here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so. I think that's fantastic. And because some of the little insider information, when we talk, Donovan and I, like offline, about how we're going to build the next coming show and stuff like that, it's very kind of general, I would say. Like, we talk about a specific topic or something, but we don't talk about, like, the tact of what we're going to bring into the show. That is highly, highly impressive. I'm in love with the way of doing that. So I'm very excited.
I'm really excited. It's going to be a
good
great
one.
show.
It's going to be good.
I've been hot a couple of times this week.
Yeah.
About just shit that I've read, and I'm like, this is absolute revisionist history.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 26 years old. I was born in 1994.
God.
If I am able to look at this and tell you are lying about something that happened in the late 60s, you have got a fucking problem.
There's something
You
seriously
have got
wrong.
a serious fucking problem. So that's what we're going to do today. It's going to be great. One thing we have to talk about in the pre-show.
Yes.
Chris Cuomo.
Oh, yeah.
Or Andrew Cuomo.
Andrew Cuomo, and I mean a little bit. Chris has got a part of that story too, but
Andrew Cuomo.
he's on the outs, bro.
He is no more. He's got, what is it,
He's probably got a week left,
at the most.
I think, at this point.
So Andrew
Yeah.
Cuomo has said that he will resign as mayor of New York City, governor of New
Governor
York.
of New York. The Andrew Cuomo Bridge will.
Bad news.
It's there was a bridge that he had corruptly got rebuilt over the years. Same bridge that I almost had to save somebody in the middle of the wintertime on the Hudson River. One of the workers that was working on the newly dubbed Andrew Cuomo Bridge fell off and
No shit.
Yeah, it was in the middle of winter, and there's ice, and it was a whole deal. But
Did he fall onto the ice?
luckily didn't hit a piece of ice, but also
ice in a
did
river.
not make it, obviously, because you fall into a bridge. It's freezing cold water. You only have a matter of minutes before
Yeah.
you're basically dead at that point. But yeah,
Especially if you've been sweating, you know? If
Yes.
you're already wet.
yeah, bad times. But yeah, his legacy is now crumbling around him because, like you said before, he did decide to resign. Chris Cuomo, his brother, the host of, was it Chris Cuomo Tonight or whatever bullshit's, primetime show he has on CNN.
Absolute fucking trash.
Yeah, he had taken a slight leave of absence to help kind of advise his brother. And
He helped write one of the statements,
he
right?
did. He
yeah.
drafted, I think, the statement, and then once he came back on the air this week, I want to say it was on Shapiro's show or maybe Breaking Points. They showed a clip of Chris's kind of little talk to the audience about okay, so here's what happened. I am not doing this, blah, blah, blah. This is why I haven't covered it over the years, blah, 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 this, that, and the other thing. Just a bunch of bullshit. But now he is, he's back to his own show, and he's kind of done with that for
my
now.
God.
But he ultimately did advise that his brother resign, which I think is, I don't know if you can call that almost an admission of guilt in a way, because he was also simultaneously being impeached by the state,
Yeah.
the state Congress. And
also-
that was going to get bloody because there was stuff in there about the 15,000 COVID deaths and the
And
hiding
still
of numbers.
maintaining his own innocence at the same time.
Oh yeah. So it's a double-edged sword. We're really happy he's out, but at the same time, he's not going to be held accountable for anything that he did.
Well, and he coated in that thin veil of racism too, of being like,
Yeah.
"Well, I'm Italian. That's how Italians do. We
My
fucking
mother
touch each
told me to do
other.
this."
We touch other people. What are you talking about? What you can't say shit like that,
Dude.
How are you gonna say? What's up, Kitty?
Yeah. Oh, the cat's here.
How are you gonna be a hardcore leftist and all about all this
Exactly.
BIPOC shit, and then when something happens, your defense is, "Well, I'm Italian." That's just how Italian people are.
I'm fairly sure he had some very choice words about Kavanaugh during his hearings.
Yes.
And, buddy, some of the allegations towards you are much more recent.
When we
They're backed up by the IG report that they did.
Yeah, we should say that, the New York Attorney General came out
Yep.
with her investigative report, which Andrew Cuomo said was very biased, right?
yeah.
Which is
Because there's a hair of truth to that because, what's her name?
the Attorney General.
I don't know if it's the Attorney General or the IG.
I think it was the Attorney General.
Letitia James, Attorney
Yeah.
General of the state, Letitia James. She has been gunning for his governorship for
Well,
a
he's a
long
piece of
time.
shit,
He
so-
is. So there is a slight hair of truth when he says that, but it's also a red herring. It's not. It doesn't really have anything to do with the report or what was found in the report.
Right, because in this report, along with the allegations that had already come out, I think some of the more salacious ones were that of a state trooper that he had moved to his own detail, and he then subsequently sexually harassed and assaulted her. And when she goes to the other state troopers, they're like, "I don't know. So that's unfortunate. I don't really know what to tell you,
Sounds like good old-fashioned New York politics.
Just
baby.
gotta keep hanging on, I guess."
So fucked up.
But he didn't do anything wrong.
No.
I'm Italian!
Hey! One of the funniest
Too much.
takes I heard from that, and it definitely had to come from Twitter somewhere, but somebody had gone on there and been like, so considering the eviction moratorium and considering the governor's girlfriends have all kicked him out of their houses and he's living in the governor's mansion now, can we evict him from the governor's mansion when his time is up, or do we just have to let him squat there like everybody else on the eviction moratorium? Does that count?
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
Because I'm sure he's got at least two other houses in New York somewhere.
He has to. And if he doesn't, time to start spending that cheddar.
He definitely has some type of summer or winter getaway,
Well, he could stay at his brother's new house that, he broke quarantine when he had COVID and had that little altercation with that biker in Long Island.
Yeah, he can stay at his old house when his brother moves into his new house.
Yeah.
Definitely
So-
free and fair media, right?
Free and fair media.
Definitely.
CNN has no bias in this whatsoever.
She's chewing on my keys through my pocket.
She's a psychopath. we'll kick her out of here before we start the real show. I don't know how she got in here. I thought I shut the door.
Carolina poked her head in, I think, to see about something. But
She is sneaky, dude. That cat is sneaky.
That we were. Yeah.
You're like going in the garage. If you crack that door, she'll watch it and just strip right in there.
And shit?
You know, she just likes to push boundaries. All of them.
We just
all the time.
We started getting so sick, our cats, we just started putting them outside.
Yeah.
So now we just leave the windows open. They just come and go as they please. And yesterday, Mark almost hopped into the neighbor's yard. Ooh, I thought he was going to get fucked up by a hummingbird. He was up on...
Hummingbird seems dangerous, bro.
There's this little wood fence thing that we have by our house, really just to keep privacy out of those big windows in our living room.
Yeah.
And he climbed up to the very top of it, and he was sitting up there, and I was like, man, what's he looking at? Like, he's looking at something, and then we saw this hummingbird back and forth, darting in front of him, and like ducking and shit. And I was like, oh, that thing's gonna poke your fucking eye out. It is gonna peck you right in the eye and take your shit out.
Yeah, dude. That thing's got a sword as a mouth.
Yeah,
that does. I gotta check my hummingbird feeder.
It was moving.
Because we get a couple of them back there now, which is kind of nice. I like to see those things. You see them right from the kitchen window too. If you're sitting out there, and
it's
they're
pretty interesting.
Buzzing around, getting their little nectar.
Weird, man.
Super, super weird. There was one other thing I wanted to bring up before we, I guess, close out the pre-show if we're at that point.
Yeah, we have a video we can play.
Oh, fantastic! The cat, I swear, she's been pushing my nerves lately, man. I started listening to one of the latest Rogan podcasts the other day.
Yes.
With the director, writer, overall badass Neil Blomkamp.
Okay.
The guy that did District 9, Chappie. Okay. He's got a new movie out called Demonic, I believe. I think it's what it's called. And it's supposed to be like his horror movie that he did. He's always wanted to make like a low-budget horror film. And, like, listening to him talk and stuff, the dude lives, like, real close to us over in Canada. The place is called the Okanagan Valley, which is where I like to do my hunting and stuff when I can.
It's not that close if he's in Canada.
Well, I mean, when I go up to my usual hunting spot, I'm like, I could probably see into his town.
You're like, he's like over there, close. Like he lives,
but he's not
like
because
he's
South African
or something like that.
Yeah, right, I get it. That's a good point. But no, it was really interesting.
That's not that far.
I love to listen to these like really interesting directors and stuff talk about making movies and the stuff they're in. He's like a super huge Alien fan.
We'll send him an email, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
let me get. Oh, okay. See, that's my fault. I apparently have trained her to be.
Oh my God, is she gonna lay here?
Yeah, she's a
this
parrot
is
cat.
Clutch, dude.
It's kind of cool, right?
Oh.
And then you can right in the face.
That's clutch. I didn't know it was gonna happen, but I'm totally cool with it. That's funny.
Yeah, she will just sit up there.
Just a cat ass.
It's so funny.
I'm cool with it. That's really funny.
Pirate cat.
I'm not mad at this. She's gonna try and jump on that corkboard.
She has tried a few times recently. I had to move the big chair because it used to be over there.
That's really funny.
So on that note,
I got a video.
We got a video.
Quick.
Is it in our signal?
Yeah, it's in the signal. It's regarding. No, it's of Jen Psaki. It's regarding Cuomo and Biden similarities or something.
Let's see here. Cuomo and Biden allegations.
There you go. That's it.
All right, let's do this.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Action.
Get off my hat.
If it's allowed to spread.
Our policy hasn't changed.
I hope you remember what it's about.
So is he open to?
Did you have another question?
Yes.
Oh yeah, this is the one. The guy had a really hard time,
In a follow-up to
like trying to get the questions answered.
Well, that's because.
In politics have been accused of sexual harassment.
Oh, I'll talk about it after.
President Biden was accused by female Secret Service agents of skinny dipping in front of them, offending them according to.
Oh yeah, skinny dipping in front of them.
Kessler,
The Secret Service agents.
Joe Biden,
former
yeah.
Senate aide Tara Reid accused him of sexual assault.
Tara Reid.
The Washington Post and the New York Times have published multiple accounts of women who objected to the way President Biden
Somebody's phone goes off. I remember that.
Yeah, a bunch of times in that same one.
Allegations into the president as there was into Governor Cuomo.
Well, first I would say the president has been clear and outspoken about the importance of women being respected and having their voices heard and being allowed to tell their stories and people treating them with respect. That has long been his policy, continues to be his policy. That was heavily litigated during the campaign. I understand you're eager to come back to it, but I don't have anything further other than to repeat that he has called for the governor to resign. Go ahead.
So she's done, basically, they just, we called for the governor to resign.
Yeah.
So all the old allegations against Biden here, they're not. I don't know why you're bringing those
He's
up.
Italian.
Hey!
Don't worry about it.
He's 1,000 years old. He does a bunch of creepy shit, doesn't know about it.
Isn't it interesting? The double standard. The masterful avoidance of the question by Jen Psaki. And that dude stumbles over his question and I cut it out like an idiot. For some reason, trying to be nice to Jen Psaki. She just was a dick to him. He asked the first question. I don't remember what it was about. She doesn't answer it. And like literally just doesn't say anything. And so he tries to talk in and she says, "Do you have another question?" And
That's
so then
where
he's
that
like,
started.
yeah, okay. So
That's so messed up.
yeah, so she was a dick to him, and that's why he was. Not that he shouldn't have his shit together. He's a White House reporter. Like, if you're going to be in the press room,
you can't be sitting
your
there
man pants
stuttering over your questions, man.
no.
Besides, you know what you're going to ask. Just
Yes.
read it from a fucking cue card if you need to, dude. I mean, you're supposed to be, the top of the top tier of press here. I mean, you're in the White House press briefing room. Get your shit together or get the fuck out. I'm tired of this garbage.
Yeah.
So that's fun. That's fun.
So
everything's great.
Yeah, it sounds like that'll be the last mention of any
yeah.
of these allegations for the next 3.5 years.
Yeah, I think so.
We just don't worry about it.
Just don't worry about it, dude. We have other things. Afghanistan, COVID. Don't look at Tara Reid. Don't look at any of the other allegations. He's a creepy old man. We're just not going to talk about it.
Jeff Bezos went to space.
Yeah.
Did you? I meant to bring this up before, like weeks ago, and kept forgetting about it. There was a petition started before Jeff Bezos left that was to deny Jeff Bezos re-entry to the planet. Did you see this?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah. It was just one of
I
those.
would have totally signed it.
It was one of those internet ones that's going around that had hundreds of thousands of signatures. People that are like, "Fuck Jeff Bezos."
Yep.
And I thought it was really funny at the time. And then last week I saw that he's suing Congress for giving Tesla money,
More money,
or SpaceX for money because they didn't give him money. He's trying to get money to build his own rocket. And then I was like, "Fucking deny Jeff Bezos re-entry. You're the richest man on the planet. You don't need the government to give you money to build a rocket. If you want to go to space, build the rocket and go to space."
Yeah.
I was shocked by it, disgusted by it, and not shocked in the way of like, I can't believe he would do something like this, but in the way of like, who the fuck do you think you are? Who do you think you are? You literally are the richest man on the planet. On the planet. No one else has more money than you do.
Period.
You own this company. You don't need this country, who just spent trillions of dollars to try and save itself over the last 2 years, to give you billions of dollars to build a fucking rocket because you want to go to space and go further and come back and say thank you to everybody who bought a fucking book and shit on Amazon because you're the reason I was able to go to space. Thank you, genuinely, because you're so disconnected with the reality that you don't realize this weird thing you think you're doing to like try and appreciate somebody is really a fuck you for all of your money. I used it to burn it up in jet fuel to go to space for 5 minutes and come back. And here I am. It cost me billions of dollars. Now I'm going to try and take it out of your pockets, even though you gave it to me in the first place. Thank you for that. My name is Jeff Bezos. My rocket looks like a dick. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it.
It's so bad. That was like the king of the bad takes. That's when it all started. Because when he came down in an unreusable rocket, I might add, so Elon Musk got that covered a little bit better.
You can't even reuse it. That's what I don't get. Like, that's the craziest thing.
Yep.
Your shit sucks. Like, yours is worse. It is inarguably a worse device, and you still think that it should be made. That's the one that should be used, even though it's worse. It's not as good, and everyone knows it. And you are so selfish and so greedy, you think yours should be used, even though we all know it's not as good.
Yep. And the fact that it's not reusable, and the fact that it costs 10 times as much. Fuck you. Fuck you. If you want to throw your own money down that hole, go to town. I'm not pitching in for that. And my fucking state senator, Maria Cantwell,
bitch,
can fucking hear that because she's been the one that's been pushing that legislation and trying to get her fucking Blue Origin money in there so that he can have more of our money.
More.
Because let's face it, if you're buying anything online, 9 times out of 10, the first place you're going to go is Amazon because let's give it what it is. It is a good consumer service. It has changed everybody's lives over the last 10 years.
I bought
in
protein
unimaginable
bars
ways.
and trauma shears on there before I came here today.
Exactly. So just because he built a good product doesn't mean he's not a bad person. And I think the first sign that everybody missed, he's gone through like this transformation since his divorce, and now he wears a cowboy hat. And that, when you look at Jeff Bezos in a cowboy hat, why are you wearing your cowboy hat after you just parachuted from low Earth orbit? First of all, because it's not space. It's fucking fake space.
Yeah.
All right, fuck off. That is not space. Shut up. Go sit down in the corner somewhere and just count all your fucking rubles and your monies and all that shit.
Hella rubles.
But don't do it with a fucking cowboy hat on. You're an asshole who's super bald. You look like a penis, just like your rocket does.
Yes.
Go back to whatever giant mansion you have and leave us the fuck alone and just appreciate the money we've already given you, dude.
Yeah.
Don't thank your employees that are shitting and pissing in bags and getting fired for not building a bed in 3 seconds once they make the delivery. It's terrible.
You just spent
He is
millions
a
of dollars
bad human being.
to try and fight their unionization
Yes.
bid in one plant in Atlanta.
Yes. You literally had the municipality install a fucking traffic light.
Yes.
Okay, dude? That's a thing. You're a
If
bad
anyone
person.
doesn't know, and then we'll leave. Jeff Bezos. I guess we can't say Jeff Bezos. The Amazon Corporation
go.
paid to have a traffic light installed and shortened, I believe, outside of the Amazon plant, so that the protesters for the union had less time to speak to people in their cars who worked at the plant.
Yep. That comes courtesy of Crystal Ball.
I mean, you can't make that shit up, dude.
Like, I'm not a big union guy. We've talked about this before. We talked about the union stuff. I'm a pretty negative dude towards most unions that are out there these days.
Yeah.
But if there's a company like Amazon whose workers want to unionize, it's their right to do that. And I don't think the corporation should be trying to, make that not happen. Because obviously your employees are pissed off, and, for whatever reason.
Well, in the same... Sorry, go ahead.
They can't, it's really easy to say, we'll go work somewhere else and all that.
Right.
The typical arguments. But some places, that's, might be the only gig you can get for now.
Right.
Unless you relocate, which also costs money. So, I understand. I don't like it. But at the same time, they're going to do what they do, and don't be an asshole about it and try to shut it down so that you can continue to take advantage of it. We all know the only reason you haven't converted your entire warehouse fleet to fucking robots, because you have the money to do it.
Oh, absolutely.
You have the technology to do it. The only reason you're not doing it is because the government would come down and crack down on your ass, because now you're this giant multi-billion corporation and you
RoboCorp.
don't even hire people to do it. I don't know. I'm just not into it.
No, it's not good.
He's
Well,
a
and
piece of
the
shit.
same with every other ideology or idea. If it's that bad of an idea, let it defeat itself. Argue against it. You don't need to cheat the rules. And they were doing weird shit with cameras and moving the polling boxes right outside of the building and stuff, and a bunch of weird shit.
Super weird
if
shit.
it's that bad of an idea, convince people it's a bad idea. Don't
Yes.
trick them into not doing it and scare them into not doing it.
Yep.
Convince them it's a bad idea, because obviously it looks like it's going to benefit them if you aren't able to convince them that it's not.
Yep.
That's insanity.
It's stupid. They're all stupid. They're all... I think I'm so done with fucking every institution out there at this point. Corporate institutions, government institutions, kind of those quasi-corporate government institutions. I'm done with all of them.
Yeah.
I think our last 2 months off has just concreted that. It has been a wild 2 months. We're only going to get into a little bit of it in the show, but I think you'll get a general perspective at how chaotic the things have been over the last 2 months. It is a different world today than where we left you 2 months ago.
With that note, I think I have the perfect way to end this pre-show.
Perfect.
I want to thank everyone for watching us here on the YouTube. Reminder, we'll be back in just a little bit for the regular show. Excuse me. We have our own social media. I'm at Salt of the Street on Twitter and at alpaca_Donovan on Instagram. Colin is at Big Bird Offie on both those things. Salt of the Street's YouTube, Salt of the Street's Instagram, Salt of the Street's Facebook.
Fuck Facebook.
SaltofTheStreets.com. Yeah, fuck Facebook, fuck Instagram, all that shit. Fuck Jeff Zuckerberg.
Yep. It's a utility. You have to use it.
Yeah, if you need a skateboard, go down to location skate shop. If you need a
Yeah.
haircut, go see Swell Blended.
Oh
With
yeah,
that.
I got to go see Paul again.
I'm not sure. So this is the.
Oh,
Yeah, it's getting pretty intense.
you got a
So
mop up there,
I
buddy.
don't know when my 12 weeks is over. But
You should just do the
we're
shave,
getting pretty
the
close.
bearskin side right there, so you can get that kind of like old school emo look going on.
Pretty legit, right? Yeah. So
You got a beautiful, thick, full head of hair, buddy.
this is after like 2 days no wash too. This
Oh,
is
shit.
Yeah, we're getting pretty real here. So with that, what you've said about institutions remind me, and then we'll take this shot and we'll close the show.
Oh yeah, that's a good way to close out the pre-show.
Tim Dillon once gave Bridget Fedesi a couch pillow. And on this couch pillow, there's all kinds of glitter and bedazzles and things like that because Tim Dillon is a gay man. And there's also words on this pillow. The words on this pillow read, "All major institutions hate you and want you to die."
And with that,
Cheers, everybody.
Good old BSB. It's so good. All right,
soon.
we're going to wrap things up here on the pre-show. Y'all sit tight. Watch out for the notifications, which you will not get, I'm very sure. So check back here in about 10-15 minutes. We'll be kicking off the main event. Peace.